Okay, there's a part where he goes Super Saiyan, and it
well,
legitimately.
I mean, you can't put that in the trailer. You know, you gotta
dude, it's so good. It's so good.
You gotta save that for the. You gotta save that for when people are paying tickets and putting butts in seats, man.
Leroy, what is it? Bruce Leroy goes Super Saiyan.
Oh, my comments are gonna cover the BLM banner. Dang it! Boo. Okay.
all right, hold on.
I don't know. After last week, I think that, or last episode, I think I'm just not gonna watch the live comments.
You getting too distracted.
It threw me off way too much. So I'll keep our private chat up. So if you guys need to see it and need to send a message or anything, I've got that there. But I'm not going to watch the live comments. It got me way too distracted last time.
You were so distracted. It was so cute though. You were engaging the fans and everything else.
Right.
We're going to switch back to this mode.
Uno momento.
Yeah, you're good.
Hold on, watch the video.
Kate and Ian, thanks for showing up. We're gonna put a video back up. We're just trying to get whatever. This is a pre-show. Welcome to How It Stacks Live.
You got the idea though. He goes Super Saiyan.
So to those of you guys who are watching the show, we're not talking about that tonight.
No.
Not at all. We should. Are we going to intro this? Can you flip us where we're the three?
Oh yeah.
Do we want to intro or we want to just pick it up and go?
No, we still need to do it live
now, right?
Yeah, we need to do it live. Did we?
All right.
We didn't decide on the last one being the official one, right? We were supposed to do one this week and we never did.
Oh.
So
it's cool. Ian, Kate, thank you guys for joining us. Glad to have you. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do this.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get back into the right place here. So there. God, my camera keeps crapping out. It's gonna be one of those nights. All right, and in 3, 2, 1.
What is up, everybody? It is JD of How It Stacks, the one, the only ear experience that you must experience at least 5 times in your lifetime. We're the show dedicated to reviewing everything you loved as a child.
I had something I was supposed to say, but then JD said ear experience and everything went out the window.
And I'm really hoping that my camera stays connected for the rest of the show. It keeps cutting out. We cover topics from our childhood that range from all kinds of books and video games and TV shows, movies, comics, all kinds of stuff. And we can't wait to cover our topic tonight. Freaking ear experience.
So that and then I just saw Oh My Gouda over there. And
the moon cheese sponsor us. It's delicious.
It needs to be a sponsor.
It's so good. Hey, we need our banner back.
Oh,
man.
We got to put our banner back. Good call.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of How It Stacks. As you can see, you know what we are all about if you look at the banner on the bottom of the screen. But we are going to get right into the show. Gentlemen, how you guys doing?
Doing okay.
All things considered, I'm doing well. A lot of that has to do with this right here. So I'm a lot better.
We are very
born the right way.
We're very fortunate.
Not the right way. That came out horribly. I was born privileged. And I'm a lot better than the rest of my friends.
Gotcha. Okay. I wasn't following for a minute. I
didn't know what to make it awkward.
Can we start over? Can we just redo this and I'll cut it out?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to How It Stacks. Experience.
You see, we could before we decided to start live streaming the show. Like that was a luxury that we had in the past.
Yeah.
So as you guys can see, what we are talking about, if you've been living under a rock, is the Black Lives Matter. How It Stacks, I feel comfortable saying that we are behind it 100%. We know that attention needs to be brought to the situation. This situation cannot continue. And we will not speak on behalf of any of the people protesters or anybody else involved in the situation, because we are not them, and that is not our voice. Our voice is here, it's right now, and it's trying to bring attention to a movement that has gone ignored for quite some time, and inappropriately so. And I will say I've been part of the problem too. So I apologize to all of those out there who hear this message and hear the podcast, see the podcast. No, I hear you. I'm behind you. Okay. Gabe, do you want to add anything, Jared?
That covers it pretty well.
I think I goofed it up enough earlier. I'm just going to say we're here to support
Jared
you.
needs to mute his own microphone tonight.
Yeah, and this is why I'm not at protests, because my voice would not be appropriate.
So I am excited about tonight's topic. I really am. So I think without further ado, Gabe brought us in a couple weeks ago. Jared brought us in. I will go ahead and do it. Dun, dun, dun. It is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh, Gabe's copy is much sexier than mine. Get that bitch close. Get that bitch close. Look at that.
You see, if I get it close, then it just shines off of the it shines off of the camera.
The original pressing and release of the actual book. We are not doing the movie. We're not doing the show. We're not doing the radio series. We're doing the
TV miniseries.
Or the TV miniseries, which is on Hulu, which I love. Very Doctor Who-esque. So the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, guys. Let's talk about it. What do you love?
My first experience was actually, I mean, I know we're talking about the book, but my first experience was the miniseries. So that was my introduction, was the BBC miniseries that was horribly filmed, but it was in like the 80s, so whatever, they had what they had. I've always been a fan of British humor personally, so like
it doesn't get more British than that TV show.
It resonated, and I've always loved the storyline for this, for at least the Hitchhiker's Guide. I actually don't know much about the rest of the series. We should probably cover that. I should probably read that later.
That being said, I don't know about the
Restaurant at the End of the Universe.
The miniseries and the radio play, but a lot of the stuff that was in the later books was sort of wrapped up into the movie at the very least. Gotcha. There were a few things in the later books that got thrown into the film, thrown into the movie to make it more filmable.
Well, I do remember hearing a lot of the like the name dropping in the film. So Ian was kind enough for us to for me. I'd read the book. My experience for this research part of it, honestly, I'll confess, I was waiting to the show to see the shock. I wasn't exposed to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as a whole until the movie came out, and I was like, "What the f is that about?" And then I went out and I think I got the book, and then I saw the movie. Right.
Yeah.
So this is 2000s, whenever the movie came out, and Ian knew that I was researching it for this show, and actually let me borrow a DVD copy. Thank you, Ian, of the movie.
Oh, nice.
And so I got to watch that after doing the book, which hybrid experience. Read the hard copy at home, listened to Audible, which was narrated by none other than Stephen Fry when I was at work.
Oh, nice.
Holy schnitz.
Who was also the voice of the guide in the film.
Which was awesome. So I know this is next part of the show, but when I read this book, okay, like as an adult,
it's going to be another Aliens.
I really feel like it's getting there. So when I read this book and I'm reading Martin the Martian, or the robot. Goddamn.
Marvin. Yeah.
Marvin. Yeah.
When I'm reading
the paranoid android, but he never strikes me as paranoid.
Right. He's the
they refer to him as Marvin the paranoid android, but I think it's only because it rhymes with android.
Well,
he doesn't show any paranoia.
No, he does show paranoia not in people trying to harm him, but he's paranoid that everyone hates him.
Okay.
I
guess
not
lump that into the depressedness, but
my point is, when I read it in the book, okay, and I heard it on Audible, in my head, and granted, I have completely forgotten who's in this movie. In my head, I'm like, dude, Alan Rickman was born to play that fucking robot. Like Alan Rickman was born to play that robot.
The casting in the movie was all brilliant.
Right.
Like all of the casting in the movie was great.
So good.
Most Def. When I read the book, I never would have pictured Most Def as Ford Prefect.
Ford, yeah.
But he fucking nails it.
He rocked that role.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So
I want to see Most Def in more movies. He's a good actor.
He's great. He's good in is it 16 Blocks with Bruce Willis?
Yeah, 16 Blocks. He was in a couple of other things too.
Yeah,
I don't think he does much acting anymore.
Which that's a topical film, but Bruce Willis is he's a crooked cop, and he helps Mos Def's character get. Mos Def fucking kills that role. Ooh,
yeah, he's
he's an incredible rapper too.
No. I liked his music before I ever saw him in the movie.
For me, I guess my confession, obviously, I didn't experience this as what it's intended to be until I was older. But I can see how much impact it had culturally, right? So aside from the fact that it's a well-written book, aside from the fact that it's humor, for the time, I believe was great. You can see how much science. I'm just gonna stop talking before I ruin the show. All right.
As a kid, did you have that insight?
Yeah.
Well,
as a kid, when you saw it in 2005,
you said you didn't see it until the movie came out. And the movie came out in around the time we graduated high school, right?
It was 2005, 2006, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I was 02 when I graduated.
Yeah. Like I said, me and you are about the same age.
Yeah, we're about the same. I mean, truth be told, though, but I think what I can look back and see is the impact it had, dude. I heard the 42 shit forever, right? And like, I was like, what the hell does that even? What is it? And I think literally somebody said it to me, and I finally snapped, and I was like, fuck it, fine, I'll read the book. I need to figure out what this means.
My favorite line as a kid was always, "It's still so long, and thanks for all the fish." Like that's just, it's still the one that stands out the most, because like I'll randomly say that when I'm leaving places, and like
right. Well, everybody. I think the fact that you work for a company called Bluefish, you should be saying that line a lot more than you think.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It might end up in an email signature. We'll see.
All right, Gabe. You look like you've got a lot to say. Tell us what, because you've got the old school edition.
Not really. No. Bear in mind, like I said, the version that I'm more familiar with, the one that I've read cover to cover, is the 5-book collection that you've got.
Yes.
I grabbed this one out of an old box because I could not find my full collection.
Okay.
I think the first time I read it, I was in middle school, maybe early high school. I grew up in a very Monty Python, Beatles, British household.
I could see this being part of your like daily bread almost, you know?
Yeah, no,
this was your bedtime story.
Actually it wasn't. I'll tell you guys that story later. Long story short, my father read me the novel Forrest Gump as a kid, and there were some very not kid appropriate things in that book.
Hey, dude, that explains a lot about you, bro. I love it.
Oh yeah. No, my parents did not shy away from R-rated material. So I like I said, I was a very British comedy and British invasion kid. Like, we listened to Led Zeppelin, and we listened to, Beatles and Stones and The Who and lots and lots of 60s British stuff. And because we were all very, very Python, we're all big Python fans. I think I don't know many other people who watched the TV show before the movies.
Right. I honestly never heard about the show.
But that was the kind of family that I was in. Like, we watched the sketches and then like, oh, well, you like that? Here's Holy Grail.
Holy Grail was my introduction to it.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of that stuff, and I read the book when I was young, and it was one of those, when I started reading it, I just did not stop all the way through until I finished the entire series.
Yeah.
And I was that nerdy kid in 6th grade walking around with the big old thick omnibus of the entire thing, just carrying it around, toting it to class, eagerly. Yeah. Show us the width of. Yeah.
That's
carrying that guy around in 6th grade was just an invitation to stuff me in the
right.
So I read all of them and I loved it. And so I had a pretty good. I had been introduced to it long before the movie came around.
Okay.
And so they made a movie, which I never watched the miniseries. I never watched the TV show.
You should. If you still haven't seen it, you should.
Didn't even know it was a thing.
Until
we booked this show. And I was like, oh, there's a TV series.
It is so Doctor Who. Like it could literally be done in the same universe. Like they could have crossover, the whole fucking shebang. Like it is, but the thing is, like, it's charming, like it's like early Doctor Who, like
right.
That show is very like it knows what it is. It's just hey, my dogs are fighting.
The radio dramas came out in 78. The book was first published in 79.
Yeah, so I think the miniseries was 80.
Was just about 79 or 80. I didn't think it was that late. I thought
it was 80s. Okay, it may have been.
I think it was like 80 or 81.
Okay,
it was very, very early 80s. But the novelization was published in 79. The radio drama that was the original thing was 78. I had to look this up earlier because I was trying to figure out when this copy of the book was printed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found all this stuff out while I was trying to determine if this was like an original printing of the book.
Is it?
No. Or it's a book club version, which is why it's so small.
It's still cute though. I love it.
It is an adorable little book. I've got Restaurant at the End of the Universe. And
do you have that one too? Yes.
Yeah, I've got both of those actually.
Yeah, Ian mentioned earlier Red Dwarf, and like those Red Dwarf and the miniseries for Hitchhikers.
That is so fucking awesome.
If you
Restaurant
like Red
at the
Dwarf.
End of the Universe, and I don't. This one has lost the sleeve, but this is so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Oh, dude, that's so cool. That's so cool, man. Oh,
they were like a book club thing that and so I had the individual books, which was neat.
Yeah,
it was cool, like because the big collections like that, like I miss out on some of the little extra features that you guys had. Like Bulldog was telling me about his has a big long afterword about the film.
Yeah, I was reading it for the show, and I thought I was like 3/4 done with the book, and I was like, crap, like I need to finish wrapping this up. But I like in the story, I was like, man, I thought I was near the end, and then like all of a sudden, like the book's over, and there's still like a fourth of the book left, and it's the afterword talking about the making of the movie and stuff, and it was like, okay, this book was a lot shorter than I remember. All right, never mind.
It's not. It's 200 pages.
And it's 35 chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of those chapters are less than a page long.
It's fucking great.
Several of them, especially toward the end. I kind of like how they did chapters. Like there's a way that like toward the end it gets to where there's like a chapter is a paragraph. And then you turn the page and then there's another chapter that is 2 paragraphs.
They did I'm trying so hard not to spoil like adult and all that stuff. I will like take a quick moment and allow myself to calm down and acknowledge, Kate Harris, Douglas Adams actually wrote some Doctor Who radio plays, which I can totally see. Based
that makes
upon
a lot of sense.
It does, doesn't it? So that was another thing that Ian had said. A lot of people have favorite lines from it. The spaceships hung in the air in the exact way that bricks don't is really cool. Anyway, I just, that stuff's great, man. So I would like to talk about. Yes.
By the way, I mentioned this before the show to JD and Bulldog, but I had a real hard time continuing the show last week with reading all the live comments, so I'm not watching the live comments today.
We'll
Bulldog,
keep you up to date.
If there's one that you would like to reference, please put it on the screen.
We'll do.
Not a
We'll
problem.
do.
So, gentlemen,
it'll have to be worthy of overlapping Black Lives Matter. So make it good, guys.
Like none.
Yeah, you're gonna have to make it good.
I really need to talk about this as an adult.
Well, I mean, so all of us have talked about our childhood memories. Like I never read the book as a kid. I watched the miniseries, which from just rereading it and then my memory of the miniseries, they're pretty close.
Not exactly a childhood memory, but someone else's childhood.
Okay.
My nieces were here today, and the oldest of them is 12, and she was on a tablet playing a game, and she's a big reader. And I asked her, because she's one of those kids that reads at like a college level when she's 12.
Yeah.
So I asked her, I was like, hey, have you ever read Hitchhikers? And she was like, no, have you ever read Hitchhiker's Guide? And she was like, no, I don't think so. The other teenager that I didn't even know she was talking to on the tablet pipes up and goes, holy crap, that's the best book ever. You have to read it now.
Yes.
Another 12-year-old.
Yep.
Yes.
So
another 12-year-old.
we're going to use that to segue into adult experiences.
We should.
My
body is ready. We're 24
minutes
in.
No, fuck it. Gabe did it unexpectedly. I'm doing it.
5 minutes of it. 5 minutes of it was before the first 5 minutes of the show was all The Last Dragon.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So good call. We're 15 minutes in.
I am breaking How It Stacks protocol right now, like Gabe did on Aliens. I love all of this so hard. Like, goddamn, it is a mastercraft in writing.
Did you stop reading before Restaurant at the End of the Universe?
I stopped right there. I didn't follow the sequel. I did the homework. I read the book, audiobook, and that's where I stopped.
Gotcha.
Just for this, right? I can see you have something to say.
I'm totally going to continue reading later.
Oh God!
But I have a minor criticism that I'll get to in a little bit.
Perfect. For me, though, like even as an adult, when I first read this thing back in the mid 2000s, I was fucking blown away. Like, this thing was written so long ago. It's science fiction. Not only holds up, it should be an example to other science fiction fucking writers out there for the level of creativity it took it fucking to.
But I mean, it's a little easier with comedy than it is with drama.
I mean, I get that, dude, but so would you consider Doctor Who a drama or a comedy?
Depends on the episode.
I can see that, but that wasn't the question.
Typically, on a whole, I would say drama.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Jared.
I mean,
anyway,
I'd say it's drama.
I totally see what you're saying, Gabe. And you're right. Like it would be hard to fit an improbability drive in the movie Aliens. So it is easier to write.
It would be hard to put it in Star Wars.
It would be hard to put it in Star Wars.
It'd be slightly easier to put it in Star Trek.
We took a horror movie and sent people. We took a movie and sent people to hell.
Improbability drive.
Come on. We sent people to hell in a horror movie. Like we can have an improbability drive. Why not?
Did we do Event Horizon yet?
No, but I've watched that movie.
If we haven't,
we might have done it in the old series.
I think we did Event Horizon. The only reason I bring it up is because you said hell, and it just talking about spaceships and like they travel. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, they travel to hell and come back and yeah. They have an
Yeah.
And they did the classic. They did the classic. Let me demonstrate, guys. When you want to jump between 2 points in space, you fold the space, straight line.
Yeah.
You sound like the dude from Jaws. We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Oh, that's fucking great. You definitely know where your talent is. It's fucking great. Dude, I tell it has so many great lines, and lines that and I don't even know. I'm sure he did. But one line that I think that summarized like it was like literally this one line summarized fucking humanity to the T, which is arguably something that we're dealing with now. But it talked about religion,
very topical stuff in this book.
In the foreword of the book, where it talks about mankind. They're like, they nailed a guy to a tree for just wanting us to be nice to each other. I was like, I can't argue with that. Like, you know,
anybody got some tea? Just sit
right.
here, just sit here and sip some tea.
But what it did so well though is like it's still, dude. Like I felt I can make an argument that I feel like this book was written yesterday. You know, like because
I mean, it doesn't seem to age. Yeah,
it doesn't.
Right.
Oh my God. Like even the jokes, even the humor, the delivery, the fucking robot. Goddamn, one of my favorite parts of the book is when the people are saved by the robot that gets the thing to kill itself.
I love how they like he's talking about the two essentially police officers. I'll remind me to come back to that. But we've got the two police officers that randomly die, and Ford walks up and he's like, "That shouldn't happen." Like,
I've got it bookmarked too.
Yeah,
do you have it? Okay.
So it's like that shouldn't have happened.
I have two passages in the book bookmarked.
Yeah. So it's like that shouldn't have failed, and if it did fail, there should be a backup connection to the ship. Like, what happened to the other guy? Oh, the exact same thing. Well, that never happens.
Yeah.
If one of the things that I loved is how clever it got with like the building of Earth and the whole thing, right? Like,
well, so the connection I never made as a kid is so. Within the last couple of years, it's been brought to my attention, or like my consciousness that like stupid camera. God, so it's my camera keeps flipping out. So it got brought to my attention that humans like to treat themselves like they, and not all humans, but just whatever certain segments of them try to treat themselves like they are not of this world. But like quite literally, we're just a part of a giant biosphere organism that like there is no way of getting around the fact that we're a part of this. It's like, and I know that like the Matrix called humans a virus, and like maybe a cancer is probably a better description, but it's like it never really clicked until the last couple of years, and then I rewatched this movie and I was like, oh shit, like should have caught on to that earlier. Like,
it's got like so many like the arrogance of humanity is arguably like where it talks about the dolphins and how like we're so superior. The dolphins like, oh, we just don't give a shit about what you guys care about. Like we're here just chilling. You guys are dumbass. And it's like
we keep trying to tell you, and you keep thinking we're trying to jump through hoops, and we're like, no, like this shit's going down. You might want to figure a way off the planet.
And it was just mistaken for triple somersaults while singing the Star Spangled Banner.
And then mice like that they've been experimenting on. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. I think
the idea that humans are number 3 on the list is being a little
high.
Generous.
Little high.
It's being a little generous.
Okay, sorry. So one detractor from the book. It's probably that, because it was probably Douglas Adams. He was just like, well, I wrote this book and it's pretty awesome. So like, number 3. Like, why not?
Yeah,
we'll keep us at number 3. It's
number
fine.
3. Yeah, because he was going to do dolphins. I mean, everybody knows that.
Right.
Like everybody
assumed that.
Well, everybody's known that since the 60s when what was that dude that used to give him LSD and then try to procreate with him? Does anybody remember that doctor's name?
Timothy Leary.
Was that his name? Okay. Well, that sounds like
that's the big LSD guy. That's the big LSD guy is Timothy Leary.
Well, there was a marine biologist.
Exactly who you're talking about.
Well, there's a marine biologist who literally tried to engage in activities with dolphins on LSD and stuff. It was Anyway, look that one up
know.
later.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Timothy Leary tried some shit like that. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he was kind of out there, dude.
Fair enough. Anyway, but it was like everybody, like you said, everybody knows that dolphins are intelligent. But the flip of the switch at the very end. Well, I say very end, whatever, the last 3 quarters, where it's like, oh no, like the mice have been in control of this whole thing, and they're trying to answer the most important question.
Man, and again, I read this book when I was a kid, and it attests so much to the casting of the film that going back and reading the book now, I see Slarty Bartfast as the guy who played him in the movie, whose name I can't recall right now, but he's one of those guys that's in everything.
I can't remember who it is offhand.
Sam Rockwell is Zaphod.
Sam Rockwell is Zaphod Beeblebrox,
right?
Which is Zaphod Beeblebrox, the inventor of the Pangalactic the Pangalactic Gargle Blaster, ex-confidence trickster, once described by Eccentrica Galactica as the best bang since the big one.
Yeah.
And recently voted worst dressed sentient being in the known universe for the 7th time.
I love that. That is comedic delivery, sir, at its finest. So well done.
Sam Rockwell was Zaphod Beeblebrox. Mostef was Ford Prefect. Zoe Deschanel was Trillion.
Yeah. Oh, it was Bill Nighy? Oh, is that you're talking about Slarty Bartfast, right?
It's the guy. Yeah.
It's
Do you have a picture of him that you could share?
Yeah, let me I'll just pull up the IMDb page.
He's one of those faces that you'll immediately recognize.
Yeah, he was Philip.
And then the last one was Arthur Dent. Arthur Dent was the guy that played Hobbit. I forget his name. Yeah. That's Slarty Bartfast.
Yep. Yeah, freaking Underworld.
He's one of those guys that's in everything.
Right.
He's a great actor. Yeah. Jared, what about you?
My point being, to this day, when I read the book, I see all of those actors now.
That's what I like.
Despite having built my foundations with this particular thing long before the movie.
Kate was on top of it. I just didn't see it in the comments. Well done, Kate. She was on it before I could even pull up IMDb. I just was.
She mentioned Philip from Shaun of the Dead. And the actors. So Gabe, I want to hear your books. I want to hear the passages.
Oh, well, that was one of them.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Zaphod was one. I didn't just come up with that off the top of my head.
Can you read it in your movie voice?
Read it in my movie voice. What the Zaphod thing again?
No,
you hear it again. Oh no, the next one that I've got is I bookmarked the police brutality stuff at the end of the book because I wanted to read that again.
Because that one hit real close to home.
So right there at the end of the book, that's I don't want to spoil it or anything, but the one that I've got one that I'm saving for our sign off.
Okay.
I've
got one that I'm saving for our sign off. If you would like details, they're in our own little chat thread.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Bulldog, what do you got, man?
I mean, my favorite memory from the book and movie, but just because it's humorous to me to see the improbability drive. They turn it on without the safeguards, and then the missiles turn into a pot of petunias and a whale, and the fact that the story between the two that have just blinked into existence, and the fact that the petunias.
And in the later books, there is a whole lot of story behind that bowl of petunias.
Oh, so they go back, because that's always one thing I've been kind of curious about. Its ending thought is like, oh crap, not again.
It is a character in the later books. That comes back.
Like that's the scene that just stands out most in my memory from like funny clips.
I love that they left that in the movie. I love that they left it in the movie, despite the fact that there is no reference to that character in the movie whatsoever. The fact that they left in the "oh, not again" thing for the bowl of petunias is
Right.
very good.
Well, there's certain like lines in any like medium when it translates to the next. So like from book to movie to game, blah 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 blah. That just have to fucking be there, right? And I think that's just like that line is so like out of the blue, like, and it goes hand in hand with the writing of the book where it's like the improbability drive. Oh, but like based, and here's what's great is throughout the whole book, as he's writing and as the story goes, he's creating a universe where those things are acceptable, right? Like he creates this whole dynamic where it's not ridiculous that a fucking petunia would have a thought, not again. You know what I mean? Like that's a great writer. Like it just, and like, or the sperm whale, like the way that he writes this book, when that part happens, you're like, oh, that's the funniest shit I've heard since the last chapter.
Yeah.
You know,
you're like, you know what?
Wrote the book.
Why not? It fits.
Yeah. You know, it's like, I recently, on an unrelated note, I watched Walking Dead with someone. And it was like, we got to the part where King Ezekiel shows up with a giant, like, tiger.
Yeah.
Right? And they call him King Ezekiel, and he has a giant tiger. And everybody's like, are you fucking serious? And the person was like, is this really happening? I'm like, hold on. We're watching a show about zombies coming back from the dead, and you're worried about a guy with a tiger? Like,
right.
It's kind of there. You know, like,
look, something happened to the zoos, right? I mean,
the guy's a zookeeper. Makes sense. Oh, dude, this book. All right, Jared, I'm sorry. Go.
I know you're good. Like that'd be my favorite, probably the thing that sticks out, like the favorite, like I'm speaking in movie terms, but favorite scene, like the piece that just pops in my head the most. Yeah. There's just too many good pieces about it that don't make logical sense, but then they just stick with you. Like the most important piece to keep with you is to have a towel, right? And it's not that, it's not even that it's useful. That's only part of it. Part of it's because if you have a towel, people will respect you because, like, man, that dude's been through some shit and he knows where his towel is.
Because they think if you have a towel, you also have all of the other things that go with it.
Which was brilliant.
Yeah. And that my inner scout was like, hell yeah, you got to be prepared. You never know when you're going to need that thing.
Right. You got to be prepared. Don't panic.
Don't forget to
panic.
Right. Right.
Don't forget to. I could not think about Tally the whole time I was reading that book. Gosh, so I'm trying to think of like. I mean, there was so much that stood out. I love the fact that like Zaphod, Beeblebrox,
however you pronounce it.
Yeah. Right.
I think
the guy who
took in the movie they say Zaphod
was the guy who took Trillian away at the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is not nearly as big of a deal in the book as it is in the movie. Like they make a big deal out of it in the movie.
I think that was because
like, romantic interest.
That's it right there. In the book, they didn't have it, but it was still a great thing. Like I love the part where he's like, I know him. It's like, you can't know this guy. He's an alien.
He's quite literally not from around here.
Bitch. Yeah, clearly you don't know what the hell he's talking about.
And it's one of the only times in the book that Ford gets angry.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
He gets pissy. Like he's like, no, you're in my house now. You need to shut the hell up.
Yeah,
we're not on Earth anymore. You don't know anything about this. That's my towel you have, son.
That is a good catch. Yeah, that's a good catch.
Is there anything that you guys don't remember from your previous experiences that you caught in this version, or not this version, but this rereading?
I didn't realize how many things they manufactured for the movie. The whole thing with Homokavula, the whole romantic subplot between Arthur and Trillian, which does come up, but not in this book.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it. I mean,
it does come up. It does come up.
You can tell that he pines. Yeah, he pines, but it doesn't appear that she has anything.
Later in the series, it crops up.
I think,
and there are things that you can tell when they made the movie. The people that had a lot of respect for the source material, but they still added stuff because they had to, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the movie could be.
There were things that, but yeah, the like I said, I didn't realize quite how much the movie added to the story.
It added a lot, but I think for me,
we're not here stacking.
We're stacking the movie, right?
Yeah,
I like the movie, but I think that like I love the cast, and I like some of the creative directions they took. And I even liked the John Malkovich part. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's Humacavula.
Yeah, having a rivalry with Zaphod, but like, the execution felt weird to me. You know, like it wasn't a bad film. It just the execution just seems like something was off. But that's not here nor there. But some of the liberties they've taken, I see. I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. I did like in the book how Trillian and Arthur weren't the sole focus and the love interest and everything like that. Because like I think that was a real natural way for that to happen. You know, like she took off with an alien. You don't just reconnect and that's your love of your life. Like right. There's got to be some dynamic and shift changes there. And I think the book paced that out well. You know, I love all of the picky.
They say that the book is a trilogy in 5 parts.
Yeah, that makes okay.
And they say the book is a trilogy in 5 parts, and
which I'm excited to read. By the way, I can't.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading the rest of these books because once you get started, it's hard to not.
I just need to know what happens, and so one of the things I thought was neat is I looked up some facts, and actually, Douglas Adams apologized for.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to. Did I interrupt you? I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Please continue.
Oh, Douglas Adams apologized for the way that he had written one of the books, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I had a bad year." So the book has this grim ending.
Which book it was? It was. It might have been so long. And thanks for all the fish.
I think it's that one because he left the series.
I remember that one being for some reason in my head. I remember that being the weakest of the bunch.
That was the one that he's like, it just wasn't coming from the heart anymore. You know,
let's be honest. If you're going to pick a book, it should be that one. Like where you're like, you know what? Well, no, it's so long and thanks for all the fish. It's like, you know what? Yeah. I'm out. Like, you guys haven't gotten it so far.
I just checked out for this year. Yeah.
Bye.
Well, I think like it's one of those things, and it's like it's what I fear about like George Martin is like you become
Martin.
Yeah, you become so like beat down, not obsessed. Yeah, it's by the fandom. It's by like the pressure to create a cohesive story, and like these guys have a great out where it's a comedy routine, like Gabe said earlier, which is a really good catch, a great fucking point about the series and its relation to science fiction is you have that wiggle room. Like Game of Thrones, you don't. Your lore has got to be on par. Your stories have got to be like flowing. Particular, this character has to have a direct and all of these things because it takes place in a more realistic environment. So I think for like him, he's just fucking like he's done with it. Like he'd be, you know what I mean? Like he hasn't finished this book that's been supposed to be in writing for 10, 20 years, whatever. You know, and like authors, I can only imagine get to that point. Hell, we killed Sherlock. And then he's like, I probably need to write more Sherlock. And so he brought the character back. You know, so I totally get it. Totally understand and sympathize. Like, dude, if I had to write nothing but one particular topic for like the next 10, 20 years of my life, fuck, I'd be done with it too.
You can't expect like there's got to be those weird gold mines that like somebody just has this thing in them and it's supposed to be this epic 20 book series, but like you can't expect that out of every creator. Like author, director, you just can't. Any kind of writer, you can't.
And like I want to use Star Wars as a point. Right. So like I'm not here to debate what people thought about any of the 9 films. I don't really care. But I think it gets to a point to where as a creator, the projection of expectation becomes just so overwhelming. You don't want to create anymore. right? Like, regardless of what you thought about the last 3 films, right? Fan expectation ruined those movies for a whole populace of people to watch.
Yeah, right? But if fan expectation didn't ruin them, then George Lucas would have.
Well, but I kind of agree with you. Right?
Don't get me wrong. Now, I'm fully aware that Disney owned all of those, and George Lucas didn't have a hand in it, but he would have found a way.
Here's my thought on that whole shit, right? Because I actually saw a YouTuber, and I love his stuff. I'll even plug him on our fucking show, Star Wars Theory. But he made a point where he's like, he sided with George Lucas because George Lucas felt betrayed by Disney. Oh, poor George Lucas, poor George Lucas. And my first thought was like, that dude fucking sold the rights to Star Wars for like a crap ton of money, gave it all away to charity. He doesn't get to have a say anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if I give you something and you give me something in return, that's the end of the transaction, homie. You now own that property, that thing, that whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want with it. It's yours. And at a certain point, like, that switch has got to snap and go, oh, he doesn't own Star Wars anymore. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it, you know? And they try.
I don't own Star Wars, and I have a lot of opinions on it.
Exactly, right? And if you would own Star Wars, how different would it look compared to everybody else's Star Wars?
Oh, it would be much worse because I would be a terrible filmmaker.
Right? You're really like, and Luke kills the Emperor. And then he's pulling planets out of the sky with the Force. And then what? And then credits.
And credits.
Luke, I pulled out. End of series.
Wait, what?
No, that's what you heard.
You heard it. You heard it right.
You heard it right.
What I heard. All right.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think let's circle back to thanks for all the fish. And I just think that, like, it's justified to feel that way. Like, I'm not mad. I'm not upset as a fan of the book. And, like, let's be honest, dude, it's 2020, the year that time will honestly want to forget. And I'm still reading this book as excited as a person who picked it up day one when it came out, when you were at a coffee shop signing copies of it, you know, for the British guys. And that's great.
Because girls.
Yes. Well, yes. Okay.
Don't even.
But I mean, I get it, bro. I get it. What about you guys?
I'm sorry. I'm looking through the Wikipedia thing here, and I'm looking through the books, and I was Douglas Adams wrote all of them except for And Another Thing, right?
Yeah, he wrote all of them except for Mostly Harmless.
Oh, he didn't write Mostly Harmless.
Right. And then that was like, you know, he signs off on the series, and that was his thing. Oh, I can't wait to read this fucking.
Okay. I didn't remember. I thought he did all 5. And
Good
then
call.
And Another Thing was and I don't know this. I'm scrolling through trying to find exactly what it is. But I thought that he did the
he did write Mostly Harmless. My apologies, Kate.
The only one he didn't do was And Another Thing that was written by, I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, Eoin Colfer, Eoin.
Yeah, I like it. We'll accept
sure. But the rest of them were all his. When did Douglas Adams die?
2001.
Oh wow. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So right there in the facts.
But yeah, here's what I was looking at. All 5 of these novels were published between 1979 and 1992.
Yeah. So
in the span of 13 years.
So here you go, Gabe. To reiterate,
that are modern classics.
He died before finishing And Another Thing, and Eoin Colfer finished it. So thank you, Kate, for that and the fact checking on that.
Eowyn? Is that how we're pronouncing that?
Ian, you don't get it.
I was calling it Eon, but Eowyn is kind of nice. I like maybe that's
Eowyn. That sounds like a Lord of the Rings character.
I'm absolutely naming a D&D character Eowyn.
Dude, fucking right, we are. We need to play.
You guys will run into that NPC at some point in the.
I want to play D&D. Okay. We'll talk about that.
We'll get there. We'll talk about that after the show.
I honestly, guys, like I can't write a better love letter than the second half of the show to this book. So if you guys are ready to stack, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have more you like.
I do have a couple of little criticisms on it.
Then mute his mic.
My first one is, and again, this is a trilogy in 5 parts, and we only read 1 part.
Is that a criticism, though?
No. His point was having only read 1 book.
Yeah, the ending is very abrupt. It doesn't. It doesn't bring you in for a landing at all.
So I thought that was just me because I thought I had a quarter of a book left. So
yeah,
maybe I'm glad to hear it's not just that.
The ending of it is very abrupt. Part of that is to keep that punchiness that makes the book what it is, to keep it short and keep it to the point. I don't remember. It's not like I felt cheated at the end of the book. It's just when you separate Hitchhikers from the other 4 books in the series, it does it a little bit of a disservice. So if you're going to read the books, commit. The first book by itself ends a little abruptly. It moves quickly, but it's not. It's standing on its own. Is not. It doesn't deserve the mantle it's been placed on.
What?
Now, hang on. I said the first book by itself.
I'm just trying to find my car keys.
Only by itself. The entire series absolutely deserves, like I just called it not 30 seconds ago. I called it a modern classic in the way that like Mark Twain novels are considered classics.
Right.
There's a reason when you go to Barnes & Noble, and I know this because I just bought this for a graduation gift for somebody this past week. You go to the classics section where they have like the fancy leather-bound versions with the gold trim and the little ribbon and the real thin, fancy Bible paper. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is on that shelf. Right next to, a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court and Tom Sawyer.
So
it's on those same things. My only real criticism is, again, set apart from the other 4 books in the series, ends a little abruptly. That doesn't mean it's not good.
So
it just means that you have to. It just means that you have to pair it.
And again, because I haven't read the other 4, so
really? Never?
No.
I need to take this.
I haven't read the other 4. I now need to. But
yeah, sure. Commit to
it. Were the other 4 already planned when the first was written? Or
the first book is an adaptation of only the first 4 episodes of the radio broadcast.
Okay.
Which is where it originally came from. The radio drama was the original thing. The first book is based off of the first 4 episodes of that radio broadcast. Okay.
So there was more story already known.
I'm trying to fact check that myself.
Sure.
You guys totally missed the little bit of humor, but when Gabe was criticizing this book,
you took shots.
I pulled out my bottle of tequila.
Yeah, we didn't miss it. It just wasn't that funny. Sorry, recovering alcoholic. My bad. Yeah. It's too easy. It's too easy.
The recovering alcoholic and the person who is engaged in a conversation. We're trying to continue the conversation.
Yeah. First book was adapted from the first 4 radio episodes, referred to as the primary phase. But yeah, no, the first that looks like some fancy tequila.
It's okay. So on a side note, one of our fans asked Ian, he's like, "What are y'all drinking?" And that's it's the Rocks tequila. So it's Terramana. It's very good. I'm sorry. He asked. You asked.
I'm drinking nothing.
Yeah, but you're a sexy man, and that's all.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Here's first off, you missed a real opportunity by not calling it Pangalactic Gargle Blasters. But
right.
But I have come up with a delicious beverage that everyone should try if you have not tried it before.
I would love to guzzle your beverage, Gabe.
I bet you would.
You want to guzzle his beverage? Is that what I just heard?
Yes, that's exactly what you heard, and that's exactly what he said.
Oh my god,
it's true. I like Gabe.
So half and half, apple juice and ginger ale.
What?
Okay.
Apple juice and ginger ale.
No, okay. So have
you
drinking this?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The Sprite ginger that they just came out
that
with.
That shit is delicious.
That stuff. So Sprite ginger and Simply Apple.
Okay. So what now?
So good. Anyway, we're way off topic.
I don't like, and I get it. But if I don't ask you where this thing came from,
experimentation in the kitchen while I was bored.
Okay, well then I will try this.
That's all it is.
We've got like Kate is like, that sounds fucking delicious.
It is. I mean, holy shit, is delicious.
I guess I've never wanted to mix. No, it's fine.
Your jokes are stupid and
there's
not a lot of stuff that mixes well with ginger ale.
I was thinking mixes with the half and half with us like fruity stuff, but I guess juice and Sprite works really, really well together. Yeah, I can see that. It was the half and half that threw me though, because like in
no. Half and half is the mixture. It's not half and half like
okay.
It's equal parts. I guess a better way to describe it.
Okay.
Jesus. A better way to describe it is equal parts.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I'll try it once, but that sounds really gross, Gabe.
Oh wow. They used to put up Ian's comment. That's great.
Yeah.
And Kate disagrees with me on mixing with ginger ale.
But, I can't.
But yeah, I mean, here I know when you do that on soda fountains, it's called a suicide.
Yeah,
dude.
Which I wonder if they in Britain do they do that under the soda fountains and call it a Marvin?
Nah.
Your jokes are terrible. And no one likes it.
That was pretty bad. I will own up to that.
All right, gentlemen.
So I mean, you already stacked it. So
dude, I'll reiterate. I stacked the fuck out of this thing, man. This is truly a literary. I'm done.
What? That alcohol already get in your bloodstream?
This
is why we don't drink on the show anymore, JD.
Right.
Truly though, like it was a great experience. The second, like even reading it, listening to it, it's a great read. My kids even liked the TV show, and like how
I watch the TV show.
Dude, Ollie leans over because like I was all about this fucking topic, dude. Almost like Double Dare, where it's literal. Damn it, I can't say the word, Ian. Shut the fuck up.
Literally. Or no.
Literary.
Yeah.
Classic. I did it.
What were you trying to say?
We could just end the episode right there. Like roll fucking credits.
No, so but it was great, man. I was so excited. And what made it better was my excitement just stayed the whole time. Like I could not absorb enough of this to feel like the thirst for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I watched the show. I watched the fucking movie. I read the book. I listened to that shit on Audible. I was all about it. And goddamn, dude, it is great from every one of those mediums. I could argue the movie, but I'm not here for that right now. But it was just a great thing. And to have my kids watch it with me and be just as fucking excited as I was. And that shit was made in 81. And the humor is so British, it hurts sometimes. Was great. So goddamn, this stacks, and it stacks hard. And I would ride its stackage off into the galaxy forever.
I feel like this is a little more accessible than a lot of other British comedy too. It's not as dry. Like it's funnier. Yeah. It's funnier on its face. Like with a lot of British comedy, you have to dig for subtext.
Yes.
But with this, I mean, it's just right out in the open. Like this is funny, and I dare you not to think so.
Right? One of my favorite bits, and I've seen it done in every medium, minus the film, TV show, book, and Audible. Right? Was the opening sequence where he's like, "It's on display." I was like, yeah, it's on display. And it's in an abandoned basement. I had to take a ladder down there. It was hidden in a filing cabinet.
Oh, talking about the plans for Arthur's house.
I apologize. Yeah, that.
Okay, not the Earth demolition.
Right.
Yeah.
Was hysterical. And then the same thing happens to Earth. And I'm like, God, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. Funny thing real quick, and I'll let you guys continue. Ollie leans over after
you gonna let us finish?
I'm going to finish. Ollie leans over to me. Ollie's my 5-year-old. He leans over and he goes, "Daddy, who saves the Earth?" Because he got so sad.
Oh no!
And I was
technically, Slarty Bartfast and the mice.
Exactly. So those are my thoughts, gentlemen. Please continue.
It's a thoroughly enjoyable book. I don't read regularly because I usually don't want to set the dedicated time aside to like sit and just read. Usually audio formats.
That was another question I had for you guys. Before this episode, when was the last time you read a book?
Non-education, like fiction?
Yeah, sure. I mean, reading for pleasure.
I've done.
It doesn't necessarily have to be fiction. Yeah, but
I average a book a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
haven't read a book in a long time.
I take a lot of pride in the ability to sit down and read a book and absorb information. I use Audible. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I just can't.
That's not what I asked.
That's not reading.
Sit down and read. I read. I've revisit the Tao of Seneca or Letters from a Stoic, probably weekly. I love that book. I've read it cover to cover countless times, and I've revisited all the time.
It's just me being curious.
Oh, really. No. It's a great question.
Reading a book in a while. Right? I like an actual physical book, not an e-reader, not an internet article, no screens.
This feels so good. You know what I mean? Like there's a feel when you sit down and you're, oh my gosh, dude, this is great. Okay, on live broadcasting, I was on Life, the Universe, and Everything. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I found my.
Hold on, you were saying. Oh, you found your what bookmark?
So this is from Jinx, the nerd clothing company that was real popular years ago, right? And I had stopped on page 323, which is into the. I just think this is neat. I'm sorry. Chapter 2 of the second book.
Or no, restaurant.
It's not even the restaurant, the end of the universe. It's Life, the Universe, and Everything.
Yeah, that's number 3.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
man.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, I just
like I said, dude. All 5 of these books are worth going back and rereading,
or for the first time. So I'm owning up to that. Yeah, I need to go back and read the other 4.
If you've never read the rest of the series, by all means, go to it.
Yeah, I need.
Now, I don't know that I ever read And Another Thing. I don't know that I ever read number 6.
Stopped right there, so I'm going to have to go back
because my copy of the book was the same one that you have, JD. Is the 5 books and the one big thick thing. It didn't have number 6 in it, so I don't think I ever read number 6.
Dude, I just
sorry. Hold on. We have cut you off. Like 20
can we cut him off one more time?
Yeah. I mean, wait. Let me say one thing.
May as well at this point, right?
Honestly, man, there's a lot of things about How It Stacks that like I love, right? Like getting to do the fucking Comic-Con shit, getting to do like all the neat stuff that we've done and get to do because of the show. But when we get to do topics like this, I don't want to kill myself because I'm on the show. Like when we do the original Dark Crystal or shit like that.
Your mileage may vary with that.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. But like this, it was such an enjoyable. Oh,
This one was a pleasure. It was a rough 2 weeks to try to read because I had a lot of other stuff going on with work, but I sat down and wanted to finish this topic. Like there are other episodes.
Yeah,
there are other episodes that I would have,
and there's not as it reads fast and it goes by. They're not long individually.
Yeah, but no, I meant more like there are other topics that if we were watching or reading or playing, I would have found excuses to not actually finish. I would have been like, guys, I was busy. Like I did the best I could, but I know we were supposed to watch a full season, but I watched 2 episodes. Like
go ahead and lay down your Final Fantasy VII jokes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or I fell asleep. Like
fuck you. Sorry.
So,
my bad.
But like this one, I carved out the time to actually read this book, and it was enjoyable. Like I can't quite stack it as a book, but as a miniseries / movie to the book, it is just as enjoyable as I recall, if not.
So you mean you can't stack it as a book because you never read it as a kid?
Right. I didn't read it as a kid, but like topic wise, humor, the writing, like all of that, it
holds
actually,
up to your memory of the property,
if not better. Like it just, and part of that's because it's probably the book and it has little nuanced details that weren't in the movie and the miniseries. Yeah. But like if you enjoyed this, previously, or you've never read it and like Red Dwarf or any of the other old British 80s TV shows, what was the one with entertaining? Keeping Up Appearances. So Red Dwarf, Keeping Up Appearances, any of the old 80s British comedies, freaking like just jump in and read this thing. It's good.
Oh yeah. I second that. If you ever liked this book, you will still like this book.
Yeah.
It is every bit as good as you remember it. It is every bit as good as I remember it. Like I said, my one criticism had to do with separating it from the rest of the series, which I recommend you don't do.
Which has me pumped.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm ready to go read 4 more.
For sure. And they're all very, very good. And they all tie into one another brilliantly, partially because they're all built off of this same radio program. So he already knew where the next book was going by the time the first one was done.
Okay.
So that sort of explains the to be continued.
Yeah. You're feeling peckish, eh? Then let's go.
Yeah. And so it makes a lot of sense when you don't think of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as just the first book.
Right.
So take that into consideration. But all in all, if you like the property, if you like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie, if you liked the miniseries, if you ever liked the book, you will still like the book. You will still like all of those other things. It is a modern fucking classic, and it deserves every bit of the praise that it has gotten.
I will say, absolutely, dude. Like when you suggested this topic, I was just like, yes, fuck
yeah. You had a minor freak out.
Yeah, like it was because like
the only thing was that we haven't done a book in forever.
I know, and we should do more. You know,
it wasn't Goosebumps.
It was Goosebumps. Goosebumps was the last book.
Goodness,
it might have been our only book.
I think it was
because we've done graphic novels, but I think that may have been the only book.
Superman and Death of Batman.
The thing with this though is like, and that's why they're literary classics. Thank you, Ian, Gabe, Professor, for helping me get through that word as a unit together.
Yes.
But it's cool, man. Like, God, it was fun. I felt like I was there, like on the ride. I just enjoyed it, man. Like, and I know that like I'm the guy on the show who gets the rose-colored glasses about the topics. I get it. I do. But it was a great read. Gabe hit the nail on the head. There is a reason why this is called a classic. And absolutely, if you guys have read it as a kid, want to revisit it, absolutely do so. Absorb as much of it as you can. It's solid beginning to end. It absolutely is.
Yep. So that's across the board stack, right?
Yeah, the first one since we started back.
Since we came back. First one since we came back.
And
I mean, I told you that in the first 5 minutes of the episode.
Dude, we should have aliens the fuck out of this episode. Yeah. Like, and I tried not to, but I
praise on it for a full hour. We still heap praise on it for about 45 minutes. You know, but
yeah.
I literally was like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I cannot talk anymore because I just cannot. I just cannot talk about how awesome this thing is. Dude, it was like Stephen fucking Fry narrating it, reading the goddamn book. It was great.
That I would like to hear that.
I'll tell you what, do you have Audible?
I don't have Audible yet, but I may get it. There's this and the I want to read the I want to get the I want to hear the Dritz books, and I hear the people that read those are supposed to be really, really cool.
Which
a lot of big.
Hold on, I didn't catch that.
Dritz. It's a D&D series.
Oh, okay.
R.A. Salvatore. But there's a bunch of like it's a really famous series of D&D novels.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So, gentlemen, I am ecstatic that not only during this time, during everything that's going on, we found a topic that we just loved. It was enjoyable, and with everything that's happening, it gave us at least a place to go and enjoy ourselves. So that is awesome. That is great. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is a unanimous stack, which is fucking phenomenal. But there's one thing in this galaxy that just you don't want to happen, and that's Vogon Poetry. And I don't know. I mean, where do we go from there?
I was actually I had this idea while I was reading the book, and I would like to close us out with the first Professor's Poetry Corner. Professor's Poetry Corner, if I may.
Please do.
O freddled grunt bugly, thy micturations are to me as plurtled gabble blotchets on a lurgid bee. Group, I employ thee, my foonting turlingdromes, and hooptuously drangle me with crinkly bindle wordles, or I will rend thee in the gobberwarts with my blurgle crunchin'. See if I don't.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, it's good.
I love it.
It's good.
It's a take on how you love yourself.
So what you're saying is that under this exterior, deep down, I just want to be loved.
Yes.
So we're not going full plagiarism here. I felt that it was important to get the Vogon poetry and as the third worst poetry in the known universe.
I honestly think that you miss your calling narrating things like that, dude. You were. I'm announced. We should.
If anybody I know has a book that they would like me to read. To get an Audible copy or have something to send, I would love to do that.
Can I just have you come over to my house and read books to me?
Voices.com.
For the right price. Say what?
Voices.com. Just going to throw that out there.
Okay. I'll look into it.
Spectacular poetry, Gabe. And I think that we should find a way to incorporate.
I mean, it's really the author. Technic Vogon Jeltz, really. He's a master of the craft.
Perfect. It was great. I want this to be a segment periodically throughout How It Stacks. Like maybe one day.
It only works with words like turgid gabble blotchets and.
But what if you took like script moments like out of a movie, like little clips, like out of context?
Blurgle crunching.
Oh,
Pointing turling drones.
I have to say, gentlemen, this was.
By the way, a lot of the times in this episode, when I was like looking here off camera, I was sitting here like, okay, how am I going to pronounce it? By the way, thy micturations are to me as plurtled gabbleblochets on a lurgid bee. I don't know what gabbleblochets are, but do you know what micturations are?
I don't.
Yeah, it's the cycle of the actual Beetlejuicean month.
It's the cycle of the fucking urinary system. The cycle of the.
All right,
it's pissing.
Fantastic.
So,
as I understand it,
gentlemen, I want to go on record as saying this is probably one of my favorite episodes. So thank you both for that. I have nothing more that I can add to this episode of greatness. So you guys got anything?
No, I will say to Ian in the comments, they actually name drop the person who's the actual worst poet.
It's a guy from England, right?
Yeah, it's a woman in England. It's a teacher. Oh, micturations is a fancy word for moist. I had only ever heard it referred to as pissing, but I guess
those are related.
It applies. Anyways, but yeah, no, they do mention it in the book. They mention her by name.
Yeah.
I assume it was some shitty English teacher Douglas Adams had when he was a kid that pissed him off.
Right.
I don't have a source for that. So,
you know. Or it was somebody who was doing like slam poetry and he just despised her, one of the two. And he was like, you know what? I'm writing a novel and you're making it in.
I am writing a book that is going to be quoted for decades, and I'm putting you as the worst fucking poet in the galaxy.
Ian meant he's trying to find like actual examples
of
poetry.
Oh man, I bet it's awful.
Please, if you find it, please send it to us.
You know that like she has that shit locked up in her bedroom. She's like, I can't believe you wrote that book and put me in it.
Are you kidding me? I would love to be listed as the worst poet in the galaxy in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Right.
Well, so I mean, honestly, from a marketing standpoint, what you should do is take it and run with it. Like you literally all you do is put out garbage because then it becomes true, and then people keep buying it because they're like, there's no way. Like
low-key life goal.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, we got to wrap this puppy up. This was a pleasurable experience from minute 1 to minute 120.24. So, guys, I love y'all. Thank everybody so much for tuning in. Gabe, Bulldog, you have anything to add?
The only thing I have to add. Yeah, I was about to say the only thing I have to add is that.
Yep. So
I know it was a humorous topic and we were having, but that's, it's our shtick. Like this show is about having some fun and talking about our stuff that we love as a kid. But if you're watching this at any point in time, that's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, and a lot of people are scared and justifiably so. I am a white man, and I cannot sympathize, nor do I understand the plight of being anything less than that. And I will not pretend to understand. They have my full support. They will continue to have my full support, and I will do everything within my power to make sure that voice gets heard. This is disgusting to say the least, but to be able to have this platform and make sure that we can help in our way as How It Stacks as a team, as a unified front. It was really cool that all three of us unanimously, without a question, without a hesitation, this is something that we should do and present to our viewers and our listeners. So, Gabe, thank you for that. Jared, thank you for that. I love the two of you without words. So thank you guys for that. How It Stacks fans, do your part, get out there, mobilize, vote, and lift up people in love.
And if you have extra cash, I know it's tight, but if you have cash, that's the best way that I've found to donate is through that. That's the official Black Lives Matter donation place. So, anywho.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm Willis.
I'm JD.
I'm Bulldog.
This is how it stacks. Just like we rehearsed it, fellas.
Every time.
Bitches.